learners, from the previous video, you would have understood that conflict among supply chain partners and distortion in information causes damage to coordination. In this video, we will discuss the significance of coordination, what exactly is bullwhip effect, its causes and consequences. Before moving further to bullwhip effect, let us understand the origination of the term in the industrial setup. In the early 1990s, Procter & Gamble, one of the world's best producer of household products, faced the problem of extreme demand variations for one of its best-selling brands, Pampers diapers. The logistics executives at Procter & Gamble examined the order rates for Pampers across the supply chain. To their surprise, they found that the infant birth rate and baby diaper usage has remained stable, but there were variations noticed in the orders placed. The purchase rate was found to be more or less steady at the consumer end, but the logistics executives on further investigation found that the variation in orders increased from the retailer level to the distributor level and further up the supply chain. Procter & Gamble termed this lack of coordination as the bullwhip effect. It refers to the situation in which fluctuations in order increases from the retailers to wholesalers to manufacturers to suppliers. This can also be referred as Forrester effect, named after the founder J. Forrester in 1961. It is named by the way the amplitude of a whip increases along its length. Imagine a person holding a whip in his hand, and when that person moves their wrist a bit, it causes amplified wave patterns in a chain reaction. Bullwhip effect arises because demand for goods is based on forecasting than the actual consumer demand. Also, every channel partner would like to avoid stock out position and therefore escalates the actual demand. The bullwhip effect distorts demand information within the supply chain. Each channel partner would have a different estimate of the demand. This would lead to lack of supply chain coordination among different channel partners. Let us discuss the same with a hypothetical example. Consider actual demand from customer for a product to be 8 units. Now, retailer places order for 10 units from the distributor in order to ensure sufficient stock. So, what the retailer has done is, he has placed 2 units excess than actual demand. Next, distributor orders 20 units from the manufacturer, placing bulk orders so that future demand from the retailers can be met. So, the distributor has placed 12 units in excess of the actual demand. Now, manufacturer orders 40 units from the supplier to take advantage of economies of scale, which is 32 units excess than actual demand. 40 units are manufactured for the actual demand of 8 units. The excess goods produced will be stored, which requires excess inventory space, and it also increases inventory carrying cost. Or the excess goods have to be sold at a discount. Businesses generally forecast demand as customer demand is rarely stable, and in doing so, they rely on lot of information from the channel members in the supply chain. The channel members down the supply chain do not share reliable information to the upstream partners for various reasons, which finally end up in bullwhip effect. Let us move on to the reasons. Number 1 being disorganization. The stages in the supply chain function as independent units, and therefore they either over or underreact to orders from the downstream supply chain. The next one is lack of communication. As there is lack of information flow between the stages, each stage perceives the demand order according to their perceptions and experience, and therefore each stage has a different demand picture in front of them. Free return policy. Consumers may intentionally overstate the demand for the product due to cancellation and free return policies, which might end up in retailer ordering excess quantities than needed. The next one is order batching. Instead of small orders, companies tries to accumulate various orders and then place larger orders. They do so in order to minimize ordering cost and to take advantage of bulk buying. This might lead to high demand in some periods, followed by no or limited demand at times. The next reason being price variations. Buyer would exhibit different buying patterns when prices of products are not stable. Channel members might introduce discounts which would alter the routine buying patterns. Buyers engage in forward buying to enjoy the discounts or sometimes even postpone purchases in anticipation of some price cuts in future. This would lead to severe demand fluctuations and uneven production. The other reason would be relying on past demand. That is, sometimes channel partners rely on demand information of previous years to forecast the demand for the current period without considering any fluctuations for that period. This might result in increased variability and uncertainty. The next one being rationing and shortage gaming. When there is shortage of products, the suppliers will ration the product to the downstream channel partners. Therefore, downstream channel partners place excess demand orders so that they can meet their actual needs after rationing. This leads to sharing of inflated demand than actual demand for the product between the channel members. So, these are the reasons for happening of bullwhip effect. Now, let us move on to the consequences of bullwhip effect on performance in the supply chain. If you look at the various performance measures such as manufacturing cost, it increases because of bullwhip effect, inventory cost increases, transportation cost again increases, replenishment lead time increases due to bullwhip effect, labor cost also increases, whereas profitability, product availability decreases due to bullwhip effect. And finally, looking at the shipping and receiving costs, it also increases due to bullwhip effect. It is clearly evident that information distortion across the supply chain causes bullwhip effect. This arises due to inefficient forecasting, poor communication, larger orders, price fluctuations, free return policies, and rationing and shortage gaming. The bullwhip effect increases cost to the company, reduces product availability, increases lead time, and reduces the total profitability of the supply chain. Dear learners, having understood what bullwhip effect and the consequences of it, let us learn about the ways and means of minimizing the bullwhip effect in the next video. Thank you.